What's going on, Daybreak, and welcome back to another Elestrals Daybreak reaction video. I've already forgotten what day it is. 12? I've completely forgotten. But we're here. We got a bug dragon coming out, so I guess we'll just see what this looks like.
We got a charged up reveal for everyone today with my favorite new Elestral in Daybreak and much more.
All right.
As we count down 25 days of new card reveals until Daybreak pre-orders open on July 12th. Let's get it.
Let's see how good this thing is.
First up, we have Fulgaries, a brand new Thunder
Ooh, let's go.
and 3 defense with a unique effect. This Fulgaries gets plus 2 attack for each Thunder Enchanted rune on your field. That means Fulgaries benefits incredibly well from things like Mount Olympus, as well as Zeus being on the field. And don't forget those artifacts like Thunderbolt of Zeus. With Argo, Fulgaries can become a monster. Yeah,
that is true. Thunderbolt of Zeus. So let's quickly, what does Thunderbolt of Zeus do? Because no one plays this. Gets plus 2 attack when the empowered Elestral destroys an opponent's Elestral in battle. That opponent must expend 1. If Zeus is enchanted, that opponent must expend 2 instead. So if you're, I mean, that's not bad. And on this, if you put it onto this guy, what? His attack goes up to 6? Yeah, 6 attack. If you pair that with Mount Olympus, it would go up to 9 attack. And then if you pair it with Zeus, it would go up to 11 attack. Okay, maybe there's something there. One of the big issues with Thunder is that they don't actually have a huge beater. This could be a crazy good beater for them. Just Thunderbolt of Zeus, Argo, sorry, other way around. Fulgaries Argo into Thunderbolt of Zeus becomes a 6 attacker. That's honestly not that bad. And it forces them to expend stuff. You can also just cast Argo if they like go, if they attack with like a 5 attacker, into your Fulgaries, you just go Argo into Thunderbolt of Zeus. They get destroyed and they take a damage. So honestly, not terrible. I do not hate this at all.
With Argo, Fulgaries can become a monster very, very quickly.
Now, I will say one thing. Thunder decks don't necessarily need a big beater, but it is the one part that they are sort of lacking, is a big beater in elements.
I'm really curious to see how Thundercasters use this card in Daybreak. If you know me, you know I love insect.
It is very true, though, that Fulgaries plus a Mount Olympus, only that makes it a 5 attacker. So that's kind of crazy if we're being entirely honest.
Elestrals, and up next we have
let's see what we got.
Larvacell.
Larvacell?
Larvacell is a 3 attacker with 1 defense, and it has a really cool Nexus effect that you can Nexus a Thunder or a Solar Spirit. This Nexus effect is crucial for Larvacell because when this Larvacell receives 1 or more Solar Spirits, you can special ascend it to Anicel from your hand or deck. So you can
well, that's actually a pretty easy effect to set up.
Play your Larvacell, you can play Apollo, and you can Nexus onto it. You can play your Larvacell, and you can misenchant your Mount Olympus with a Solar Spirit and Nexus onto it.
Yeah, honestly, that's actually not that bad. If you're just playing, like, you can literally just play Thunder with a small spirit deck package of Solar Spirits, just so that you are able to Nexus onto it. Like, I don't know what Anicel is. I'm assuming it's a 1. I'm assuming it's a 2 cost. That's Thunder Solar. And if that is the case, you realistically only need 1 Solar in your deck in order to actually make this work. We'll see what Anicel actually does. But Thunder decks could just straight up use this and as he said, misenchant a Mount Olympus and Nexus onto it, and then get an Anicel out. We'll see.
Anicel. Now, I'm going to be real. This is my favorite deck to play in Daybreak, I think. It is this deck right here. Anicel is a 4/4.
Anicel? Yep. Thunder Solar.
Solar Elestral.
Okay, so no. You will need to actually play more. I saw the first line. Had to expend 2 Solar, so we'll see.
Media post a few weeks back.
Yeah, that was cool.
Solar Spirits in order to special ascend this Anicel.
Ooh, we got another one.
From your hand or deck. You could just straight up use this effect and
wait a minute. This is the first 2-cost Elestral in an Ascension line where you base... Oh my god, hang on real quick. Wait, this has potential. So the issue with a lot of Ascension lines now is that I talked about it I forget which, in one of these episodes. It was a recent one. I can't remember if it was yesterday, 2 days ago. I straight up do not remember. But I talked about how it was with, I was talking about Leo Bright. And I was talking about how the second stage in the evolution, in the Ascension line, the second stage of that Ascension line was always the weakest link, because typically that card had to stay on the field for a turn in order for you to get the benefits of it. This card is not that way. If you get Anicel out on your first turn, which is pretty easy to set up, all you have to do is expend 2 solar and you get the third one out from hand or deck. And when you cast a rune with solar, you can enchant Thunder from your Underworld to your Anicel. I'll be honest, that effect's probably not going to see play. You're probably using this. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Send right away into Phosphocell, which means you could go from Larvacell to Phosphocell.
It's that's kind of crazy.
Utilizing their effects. When you cast a rune with Solar, you can enchant a Thunder Spirit from your Underworld to this Anicel. So it has another effect, a conditional effect. So instead
this
of
might be
sending straight away,
yeah, I will say that effect might be necessary for Phosphocell. Phosphocell might require you to have multiple spirits and disenchant. So you might want to actually cast a rune and then enchant a Thunder. That actually might be something you straight up want to do. We'll see.
You can start casting a few runes with Solar and enchant more Thunder Spirits to Anicel, which is going to enable the strategy of Phosphocell to an entirely different level.
I mean, let's see Phosphocell.
Instantly jumps to one of my favorite Elestrals, 7 attack, 4 defense. It is 2 Thunder,
2 Thunder, 1 Solar.
All right. +1 attack for each Solar Spirit enchanting it. You can disenchant 2 Thunder Spirits from Phosphocell in order to destroy a rune. And it's not a target destruction, which means that your opponent doesn't have a window to respond after you use that effect and go to destroy a rune. They don't get to find out which rune you're going to destroy, so that actually gives it an advantage.
Oh yeah, so it doesn't target, so they can't just like if you want to destroy, say, like a Tsunami that they have set, but they have like, let's say, like closest to their spirit deck is a Tsunami, closest to their main deck is like a Shield of Achilles. You can just say, okay, disenchant 2. They're like, which one are you targeting? It's like, this that doesn't target. It's one of those. Okay, awesome. So, and if they want to cast the Tsunami, you just go, okay, destroy the shield. Boom. Like, that's actually crazy. Yeah. So the one thing I'm seeing, it gets +1 attack for each solar spirit enchanting it. Unfortunately, that probably isn't going to be too amazing because it only needs 1. So basically, if you have it correctly enchanted, it's going to be up to 8. And if what the frick is the first Ascension line? Why am I so bad at this? Larvacell. If you go Larvacell's effect to Nexus a Thunder or Solar, and you Nexus a Solar onto it, then it would be up to 9 attack, which isn't terrible, but you probably are going to want to put a Thunder Spirit on it. That's probably what you're going to want to do, put a Thunder Spirit on it, so that way, once you get this guy into Anicel, Anicel can then get another Thunder Spirit on it by just having you cast a rune that requires Solar, get that second Thunder Spirit on it, and then you ascend into this card with an additional Thunder. It would have at that point 4 Thunder, 1 Solar, disenchant 2 from it to destroy a rune. Going first, that's obviously not very good, so this is something that you can very easily set up, and obviously you have probably the best Nexuser in the game in the Thunder element and Spark It. So, I mean, obviously in Daybreak, Spark It not going to be nearly as good as it was just due to the existence of Glimbat, but it is still going to exist.
When this Phosphocell receives 1 or more Solar Spirit, you can enchant up to 2 Thunder Spirits from your Underworld to it.
There you go. There you go. So if you want, just enchant a Solar to it, you get the 2 Thunder, and then you can pop a rune. Okay, so forget everything I was talking about. That's all you really need.
Play your Larvacell, Nexus onto it, get your Anicel out, play some runes, buff it up a little bit. You can expend the 2 spirits, go from Anicel to Phosphocell. It gets enchanted with a Solar Spirit on casting. You enchant 2 Thunder Spirits to it, and then you have rune.
That is true. Oh man, that is true. When it's a receive, so that counts on cast. If you ascend into this with a solar, you just get 2 thunder. Oh boy, this card has potential. Oh man, this card has a lot of potential. And if you pair this with Mount Olympus, obviously you can pair it with Temple of the Sun. If you pair it with Temple, it's a little bit less because you're gonna have more Thunder Spirits on this thing. But if you do pair this with Mount Olympus, basically, let's say on cast. So, Larva Cell is a 1-cost Thunder. You Nexus a Thunder or a Solar onto it. Let's say you Nexus another Thunder. Ascend into the next Ascension. So you'd have 2 Thunder, 1 Solar on the Anacell. You might be able to like cast 1 Solar Rune and get an additional Thunder onto it. So now you're up to 3/1. Expend 2. You can then expend 2 Solar to cast into Phosphocell with another Solar. So now you're 2 and 2. Or no, what would you be? No, you would be. You got a 3rd one on it, so you're 3/2. It receives a Solar, so you put another 2 Thunder Spirits onto it. You're now up to 5 Thunder, 2 Solar. Pair that with Mount Olympus. It goes up to 12 attack from the Mount Olympus, and then 14 attack by its own effect. Now, obviously, that is more of a late game strategy. Getting this thing up to 14 attack just off of that is a late game strategy, and you do need to hit the Mount Olympus. So that probably is not important, but I'm talking about the potential. With that potential, and if once you do that, it has 5 Thunder Spirits on it, so you can just activate that rune pop twice. There's some potential. And also, I think this actually is the very first Celestial that has 3 effects. And they're all really, really cool. They all really, really help the deck. Or really, really help the card. They all, like, synergize well with each other, I think. So, this is cool. There's a lot of potential. And there's even a lot of potential with this Ascension line due to the fact that it's in Thunder. Thunder is still currently one of the best decks. You can just play like Astrabit, Spark It, all that fun stuff within it. You can play Jolton in Engine. Like, it's not really that bad. Obviously, you still have the Race to the Top and all that on it. Granted, this card only has 4 defense, and if you do buff it with the if you buff it with the Mount Olympus, then at minimum it will be at the 6 defense. So that actually is not too bad. And as I talked about, you do have the middle stage, the second stage of the Ascension line. Finally, can just go into this whenever you basically want to. You don't have to wait around for 1 turn in order for you to do it. You can just do it the moment you get it on there. So that's the main reason I'm thinking this has a lot of potential. It's the fastest Ascension line in the game because you don't have to wait an entire turn and hope your opponent doesn't destroy it. You can just do it on your turn as long as you meet the conditions in order to Nexus and then disenchant to Solar. You can just go into this guy whenever you want. So for that reason, there's a lot of potential with this guy, and I think, oh man, this could be. I said that I thought Celestial might be my Solar deck. I might have to try this deck out. This seems very interesting, and especially if we get a card in the future that says add an Insectoid from deck to hand, that just makes it even better. I think that's probably it. There might be like another rune or something.
This thing is absolutely insane.
Yes, it is.
I can't just drop this crazy new Elestral on y'all without showing you it's even crazier.
Oh, we got a 4.
#1 chase cards in Daybreak.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Full art, the Elite 4 crushed.
Oh, whoa. Hang on real quick. What is this right here? Is there maybe a Stellar Larva Cell? Oh, man. All right. Just dropping the Stellar Larva Cell completely out of nowhere? Okay. I mean, maybe it's not it. That might not be a Stellar, but come on. That has to be Stellar Larva Cell, right? It has to be. There's no way it's not. Everything else is... Or is it? No, wait. Hang on. These are like different... Maybe... No, that one's just a little different shade, I think. I think it's just far away, so it's a little bit of a different shade. I think that is Stellar Larva Cell. I think we just got teased the Stellar Larvacell right here on the full art. Beautiful card. Absolutely beautiful card.
As always, an absolute gem piece of an artwork. This is such a cool Elestral, man. I just love this guy so much. And I think it's time for us to reveal our first Stellar of Daybreak, and that is going to be Stellar Larvacell, my absolute #1 chase card.
I freaking called it.
Copies will ever exist.
I freaking called it. It was a Stellar. It's a Stellar right there. We have a Stellar on the full art. We love it.
Love that copies will ever exist.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. That's a cool Ascension line. That's a
Larvacell, and of course, Gary's.
There we go. We got to get them all right there on screen. Yeah, this is a really cool Ascension line. And the reason why I think it's really cool, I've already talked about it, but it's not reliant on that second stage evolution now. You no longer have to wait around to go into the third stage. So it's a super fast Ascension line, which I think this could potentially see meta play. I don't think people are going to be playing like Phosphocell Turbo, like their entire deck revolves around getting it out. I think mostly Thunder decks are going to tech in like a bit of an engine, like maybe 2 Larvacell, 1 Anacell, 1 Phosphocell in their decks, just because if you're able to actually do that, then this can get out of hand really fast. Granted, the issue with Phosphocell is that it puts a lot of spirits on your side of the field, which is going to make it so that your opponent basically just has free reign to go and rest on your laurels and Lavalith whenever they want to. But I still think, despite all that, this not only, again, is it a very, very, very cool Ascension line, this is just an awesome, like, it's a really cool Ascension line, and it has a lot of potential to be good in Thunder. So I think that's really, really cool, and it's something that Thunder didn't really need, but they might tech around with. And obviously Solar, I think, might also try to tech around this card. The only issue I have with this Ascension line is that it's a Thunder Solar. Granted, primary element is Thunder. The primary element is Thunder. It's not Solar. So by that, you probably shouldn't be able to do this. But Apollo, if you're talking about Apollo says Nexus, disenchant a Solar from it to foretell 3, and add one Solar Elestral to your hand. The issue with this is that you really want to use that to get Larvacell, but Larvacell is not a Solar Elestral. It is a Thunder Elestral, which makes it a little bit worse because you can't search it really off your foretells. But that being said, I don't think that's too big of an issue. The one thing that is sort of the one thing that's holding back. Larvacell is non-searchable. Larvacell is a non-searchable card because there currently is no card in the game that says on cast, add a Thunder Elestral from deck to hand. Granted, you are in Thunder, so you can play stuff like Astraba to get to Larvacell a little bit faster than you otherwise would be able to, but there is still a little bit of a disconnect there with Larvacell essentially being non-searchable. However, I do think there's still a lot of potential for this deck, and it's weird to see an Ascension line where the weakest link is not the second stage, but it's the first stage is actually the weakest link, just again due to the fact that it's not searchable. And comparing, putting this in with the Fulgaries, obviously, very, very cool card, awesome stuff. The reveals today were sick. I really, really enjoy this Ascension line. I might tech around with this and try to actually make a Phosphocell deck for you guys in the distant future. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. I really hope you did enjoy. If you did, make sure to slap the like button and subscribe for more. Hope to see all you guys in the next video. Goodbye.